basics of SEO, there's a couple things I want to talk to you guys first. There's human interaction, and then there's the actual computer interaction that happens within SEO. Those two things they're different, but they're the same. And they also cause conflicts. And as we go through this, I'll explain this.
SEO.
Search engine optimization. So what is SEO? It's search engine optimization, and it's actually a lot of little piece parts. It's not just one thing or another that makes good SEO. Unfortunately, I wish it was that simple. SEO has evolved a lot over the years. It used to be how much content was on your page, and then obviously that didn't really work out because people just made pages that were super long and didn't really have any valid information on it, just so they would get views. And they've constantly been playing a battle of what works and what doesn't work. So as SEO has evolved, we now kind of go into, you have the different piece parts to this. You have keywords, you have on-page SEO, off-page SEO, technical SEO, and then you have content creation. So keywords, this is researching and selecting the right keywords for your website. This is actually pretty important because this will allow you to be seen or not be seen. And when I talk about keywords, I'm not talking about a single word. I'm actually talking about a phrase, okay? So this would be something like HVAC near me, or it would be HVAC Surrey, VA. You know, you need to make sure that when you're putting these keywords on your website, that you're putting them in the right spots as well. And we'll get into that.
So that sounds like what people look for when they looking for a website.
Right.
So you want to have those words on your website?
Well, okay, and this is where it gets a little tricky, right? So then we talk about on-page SEO. This includes optimizing your website's content, your metadata, your title, your tags, your headers, your images, and elements with your keywords. Okay. And what I want to show you is on Chris's website, because he's allowed me to do that. If you guys can see where I'm at. So this is the website editor that I use with my program, right? So you're going to have the title here where it says Airheads HVAC. Oh, shit.
It just did it on that on-page SEO.
I got you guys.
Is it still showing up on your presentation?
Yeah, it should show now.
Okay,
there we go. Okay. Sorry, I have to stop sharing and then reshare. Okay. So you'll see on here it says, you have on the title here, Airheads HVAC, and then you'll have on the description, and both of those aren't actually on the web page itself, but they do appear when you do Google searches. Okay. So this is so when I go to Google search here, we're looking at Airheads, and you go down here to where he is, you'll see that this is his title. This is everything that is in the description for him. Oops, trying to go back over here. All right, and then you have the author, the social media image tag, right? And then we have over here the actual image. And over here, you also put on your images your SEO tags. Now, a lot of this stuff is stuff that people don't actually see. This is stuff that you guys are putting into your websites that are going to attract people to come to your website, okay? And again, this is only one aspect, one part of all the SEO that goes into this stuff. Yes.
And I don't want to derail you. Recently on my website, I just learned that on pictures that are on my site, I can give them a name. So does that mean when people are searching for stuff, my image might come up because it's, you
Right.
know, I gave, this is calendula, and if they look it up, if they're in my area, it'd be like, oh, here's a picture of calendula. And search.
Right. Because they could be searching on an image search,
Okay,
or they could be searching on Google, and depending on what your keywords are, depends on what brings it in.
and you can give your images more tags too. Okay. Interesting.
Right. It's generally recommended that you give 1 tag per image
Okay,
and 10 tags per web page.
okay.
Okay. So you can kind of spread that out between your pages, but I don't recommend it either. The way the algorithm works, it kind of wants to see the 10 on your Google My Business page. It wants to see those 10 that are on your website match those 10,
Mhm.
and so on and so forth. Yeah, so matching your keywords up is really important with what you have on your website and the content that you have on your website as well. All right, let's jump.
You're trying to select words that will be used in searches.
Yes. So there's a couple ways of doing that, right? So you can go on to actually, Google has the one for free, right? So you can go on to Google Keyword Planner.
I know Google tells you what people have searched for.
Right.
Mostly when it gives you your review of whatever the month or something.
Right.
So those are the important ones, or?
They can be. And so SEO is always a moving target, right? So you can go on there and you can go, well, what was my monthly report for SEO for these? Did I make those marks? And you can kind of look at that stuff. But it's always on the move. And unfortunately, you're always looking what was good last month. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's good this month, but you can look at what people have been searching for last month. So like, again, I'll use Chris's. It's most of the HVAC repairs in Surrey have a hit of between 10 and 100 people per month that it hasn't really moved. And then next to that, it'll say competition, right? And it's going to be low, medium, or high. What's hard about the HVAC game is that it's always high. Doesn't matter what I put in, what keywords I put in, it's high. So you really have to start getting the other piece parts for those keywords so that you can bring your ranking up higher. So, because you're kind of grasping at straws in that kind of community, right? I'm grasping at 100 people that are all looking for the same thing, but then you've got bigger HVAC companies that are coming in, and they're the ones doing the paid advertisements, and they're your competition. So while Chris is on page 1 of Google right now, it's not easy to get him there. It's not easy to keep him there either. Because, again, it's not just your keywords. It's a lot more
It's
to
not
it.
just HVAC Surrey.
No.
I don't know what else.
Well, people tend to search around here for like air conditioning repair, or they'll search for, oh man, there's a whole list of them.
Brand names and air.
Right. So it depends. So when you're looking at these things, and remember, you can only select 10. So you have to really kind of hammer down what's going to get you the most for your buck.
10 per website or 10 per web?
So you can do them on each of your pages differently, but
Okay.
it's not recommended.
Okay.
You're just saying that you get 10 keywords for the page that are hidden basically.
Right.
But you can utilize a whole lot of other elements to jam a whole lot more into that page.
You can. So, and it's just not just the stuff that you put into that keyword on the SEO meta tag. It's also what your content says, right? All of those things should line up. If I'm putting keywords on there, except for like the near me stuff, you shouldn't have like HVAC near me on there. But it should have a list of your locations, so that way when people do search for near me, Google or Yahoo or whatever recognizes the location that you're working out of.
Right, not just Surrey, but William.
Right. Exactly.
So how do you put that into your website, Williamsburg, when you're in Surrey?
So there's a couple ways of doing it. And let me get back into Chris's website actually. And of course, where I need to go, it's being blocked. Okay. So I put it on the contact us page, right? So here on the contact page, this is the map that Chris has drawn out in Google My Business for his service areas, right? And then below that, proudly servicing the following areas. And I've listed them. Did I get one twice?
Yeah, Newville, I've never even heard of it.
I sure did.
I keep driving through it, I get
Yeah.
tiny little,
But it's yours, you got it.
so many
Right.
places in Surrey.
Yes.
That's in Surrey?
Is it not?
I've never heard of it.
Well, it doesn't have to be in Surrey. You
No,
can
I
do
know,
those.
but
No.
I'm curious.
I think technically it's just outside of Surrey because the line is drawn right where Waverly is. So. But yeah, so that's one way of doing it. You can mark it and you can talk about it in other locations as well. It's all about how you want to do it at the end of the day. Like you'll notice at the top of every banner, every webpage that he has, it has Surrey County VA at the top, with a little pin drop thing. All that stuff helps for the system to identify where he's at, what he's doing, the locations that he works in. And beyond that, if you have a Google My Business page, that takes it a step further because it ties your web page with the Google My Business page, and those two interact.
What's the Google My Business?
So, right. So, and what's kind of fun about the Google My Business pages, since we're going to the websites, if you look here, you'll see HVAC Pros Surrey, and these are the guys that pop up first, right? These are the Google guaranteed ones.
There's a process that I need to work through when they want a lot of information and they basically background check you and then you can become Google certified.
Right.
Make sure you're not a.
They want to make sure I'm not a criminal. I have a driver's license.
Right.
Bunch
So
of things.
yeah, it's definitely a process that
You're working.
puts you out there.
I kind of got off it a while ago, but I need to do it because what he's saying, this is actually a really valuable thing. If you can achieve that, that's what you're saying. That's how you hit those first,
Yep.
listings. If you want that, you got to do that. So
Yeah.
yes, I have to.
So it's right here at the very top, right? It's Google guaranteed. These are the first businesses that come up. After that, it's the paid ads. After that, it's people with Google My Business pages. And then after that, it's the websites. So Chris is number 3 on the websites here.
Amazing. Actually.
And he is also number 3 for the Google My Business pages. Right.
Oh, yeah. Under what?
Hmm?
So number 3 under what?
So he's number 3 for the Google My Business pages. And then he is also number 3 on the website listing.
Right, but then put in a search, right?
Right.
So-
HVAC Surrey VA. So that's what he's number 3 on right now. So if you were looking for an HVAC company, he would be number 3 in those lists.
But if you've got a wider audience than just Surrey.
Right. And that's
and you wanna
why.
attract people from other areas, you don't wanna just say Surrey V.
No.
So then what do you say?
So it depends on the area that you're targeting.
Richmond to Virginia Beach.
That's oh.
Hampton Roads.
Yeah.
Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads is a good one.
Well, that's our names.
Well, right. And we'll get into that particularly here in a minute. So let me get back to the point real quick. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Let me share my screen. That way I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some off-page SEO. This is going to be everything that's external to your website. Okay. This is going to be your backlinks. This is going to be social media, Google My Business pages, things like that. This is really important. Having these backlinks to your website are important. What's more important about not just having backlinks, because I mean, I could go on Fiverr right now and they'll offer me 50,000 backlinks today for $50. The problem is that not a single one of those is going to do me anything good. Your website needs to be listed on what is called an authoritative website. So that would be Yelp, Facebook, Google, somebody else who has high authority on their website. Yeah. So you need those kind of listings. So, and then on top of that, your social media, how active are you with it? Are you posting your website on your social media on a constant basis and stuff like that? Those things are important in the search results. It looks for those kinds of things. All right, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of technical SEO because it kind of blends in together. So this includes optimizing your website's technical infrastructure, such as your page speed, mobile friendliness, website architecture, and sitemaps. So this goes into a lot of the human aspect of it more than it does with the Google aspect. So Google does rank your authority based off of these factors, but you're going to get ranked harder by people. A lot of you have great, wonderful pictures on your websites and they're high resolution and they're awesome. But when I look at it on my phone and it takes more than 2 seconds for it to load, I'm gone. That's it. People will leave your website because it takes too long to load. In addition to that, if you haven't optimized your website for mobile, people will leave. And think about this, when we're putting websites together, anywhere between 50 to 60% of your viewers are mobile, if not more. So if it's not optimized for mobile, you just lost over half of your audience. So, and I've made the mistake, I really have, especially building my own website several times. I have gone on there and realized that when I put it into the mobile view, it doesn't make sense. And that's because when you do things on your website builders and stuff like that, it kind of goes back and forth, right? You have to go and you have to go look at the desktop view. Then you have to go and look at the mobile view and you have to make sure that's organized correctly and structured right. The other part of this is linking your website to your sitemap, right? If I click the About Us page to go to the About Us page, and it takes me somewhere different, there's a problem. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a website and that's happened. It's frustrating for the user and they will leave. So, and that's going to be more human interaction than it is going to be Google, because Google doesn't care if where that link goes as long as it's going somewhere. It doesn't match up to make sure that it goes to the About Us page, right? So when we're looking at this stuff, this is where it starts to get to, are your users able to use your website? Because Google cares about that, and it'll measure the time that people are on your website. But more importantly, your users care about that. All right, content creation. Please use your own images. I can't. I can't say that enough because there are a lot of free images out there to grab. The problem is that everybody uses them. If you are using somebody else's picture, and so is 10,000 other people, it will lower your ranking. All right, it does know that, and it does understand that. Pretty much, yeah.
Google.
Yeah, Google is Big Brother. I want to talk something about the off-page SEO as well. Off-page SEO, when we really get into this, it goes everywhere. And I just want everybody to understand that do not let a marketer tell you that they are going to rank you day one on Google as a number one. It's not going to happen. It takes time. Google needs about 30 to 45 days-ish to find all your backlinks. That's a long period of time. If somebody tells you that they could get you in 30 days, that's a little bit more believable. But please don't let anybody tell you that, you pay me $10,000, I'm going to get you day one, today, tomorrow. It ain't going to happen. Wasting your time and you're wasting your money. All right. So now we get down to what really matters, right? The three kings. This is your URL, your title, and the first header on your page. Okay. This is what's going to tell Google what you are about. These three things are probably more important than your keywords. And so we all understand this right here is a URL, right? So airheadshvac.com/contact, that is a URL, right? Your title is what shows up right here. And this is on the search results. And then your H1 is the first H1 that comes up. So that's not even the H1, that is the paragraph. That's also a paragraph. So you see up here at the top on my editor, right, where it says heading and it says H1, that is the heading paragraph for that. That is what kind of dictates what you are, right? It's in those three names. And you want those three names to have at least so like for Chris, I want HVAC in all three of those names, right? So if it isn't directly in his name on his homepage, instead of saying /home, I'd probably have it say /HVAC. Does that make sense? So you can kind of get creative with it. It doesn't necessarily matter if your name is, whatever. Like Carol's got, or not Carol, Diane has a good name for her business because her domain name and stuff like that allows her to keep all those three things in line without her having to do a lot of work for it. So when you come up with names, you should be thinking about things like that. The other thing I want to tell you guys is that you guys want to buy your own domains. I, as a marketer, do not want to own your domain because I don't want the hassle that comes with it. Because if you decide that you are going to leave, I have to sell you back your domain, which it gets to be real fun. But more importantly, a lot of people will hold that against you. They'll charge you a whole lot of money for you to get something that is technically yours. And
It
it's
seems like buying GoDaddy.
right. So like how it's surreyva.gov or surreyvachamber.gov. Org. Yeah, it's org. It's not a government organization. if somebody has that, they can hold it against you and you have to basically buy it from them. And, you know, you do a bill of sale and everything like that. It's so like if Chris was like, I don't want to be a part of this organization anymore, I'm going to leave, and I had his domain, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, you can leave. I'll shut down everything. And if you want your name back, that'll be $10,000. And it's hard because, you know, when people get to know you for your logo, for your name, they have the brand awareness. It's hard to bring them back to something completely different, completely new website. Yeah, I used to have this, but you're basically re-imaging yourself and starting over. You don't want that. All right, so picking a domain name, I'm going to make fun of myself here for a second. Your domain name usually ties to your email. So as you can see here, my name is extremely long. It's great for SEO. It really is. Because it has SD Digital Marketing Solutions, and I can use all of those words in my SEO. The problem is that when I go tell somebody that this is my email address, nobody wants to hand jam that in. It's cool if I send you an email because then all you have to do is reply, but nobody wants to go type my email in. If I give somebody a business card with that email on it, nobody wants to deal with it. You know, so I could have shortened it. I could have made it SDD Marketing Solutions, or I could have made SD Digital Marketing, or, you know, but what you want to avoid doing is making it something like SDDMS. What is that? That doesn't mean anything to anybody. And it's also not good for SEO. So your name should be engaging. They should be relevant to the topic or business, and it should also try to fit in with SEO. But it does not the end of the world. If it doesn't, there's other ways around that. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Out of curiosity, with that secondary tag on the URL, do dashes matter? I try to like break up words.
So
Phrase, it's like a 2 or 3.
I've seen it done. I'm not sure how effective it is or isn't. It would really kind of depend on your SEO. It really depends on your targeting.
Adapted just removes the spaces, basically.
Yeah.
We
So
have one that has dashes in it.
I'm pretty
Center of
sure that,
gravity.
yeah, any of that kind of stuff is just removed. Like if you were to go to Google and type in a word and a slash and a word and asterisk and a word, it's gonna remove those
Yeah.
special characters.
it does that with periods when you do in the search bar. Do not do that in your URL because that means something different. But you know, when you go into the search bar, because people, that space bar and that period is real close together.
Yeah.
It doesn't look at that period. It just takes it out of the equation. It'll put it in there as a space. It usually does that with the dashes as well. So that kind of stuff can be helpful when you're doing the slash and stuff like that. Along with that, though, if you have a subdomain, Google does not like subdomains. So you have what's called an A record in your DNS settings. If you go to your domain, yeah, I'm getting real technical.
Yeah, I'm like,
And then-
get my web.
And then you'll have a subdomain, which is usually a CNAME, is what they're called.
Okay.
CNAMEs are usually used, so like if I was advertising a very specific product and offer on like Facebook, or if I was running a Google ad or something like that, I would use a subdomain. I wouldn't use my own domain. And this domain is outside of my normal web page.
Oh, okay. Like it takes you to another site.
Right. So like click here to claim your $150 offer, and then we'll send you over here.
Right, okay.
And it's basically, those are normally what's called funnel pages, where basically you get an offer, it sends you to a next page with where you receive whatever after you fill out whatever information. And then usually it's the sale of the service. And those are called funnels.
Okay. you saying?
Yes. It's where you land at after you click on whatever offer.
Is that like when sometimes when you click on something, it's like, this is taking you off site? It gives you a little warning, like, hey, you're about to leave this page, like,
Yeah, kind of.
okay.
I mean, unless you're going to somebody's direct Facebook page,
Mhm.
that's usually the A record. You would want to have your A record up there because, again, you're trying to get your own website up there in the rankings, and you want that listed places. You don't just want your subdomains out there. Google doesn't like subdomains. They usually will not rank a subdomain. So anything with a CNAME generally does not rank, and you are pulling people to that. So, any other questions? All right.
Mhm.
Well, I appreciate all of you. Chris, I appreciate you the most because you allowed me to use your website for this.
Thank you.
And I appreciate everybody at the chamber for allowing me to come up here and talk to you guys about this.
Thanks.
You could figure it. Thank you. And maybe in the future, we can get you to dive in a little deeper into some of those, you know, that was a good overview. Get like targeted.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is, you said this is recorded?